a secret now. I see dead people.
Welcome to Blondes and Booze. You are about to embark on a journey, one that often leads to more questions than answers. But fear not, your host, Krista, Aaron, and Brandy have the experience, the perseverance, and yes, even the gifts to pull back the veil and allow us to glimpse the other side. They will share not only their experiences, but will introduce you to world-renowned researchers and experiencers to help you find answers in the murky waters of what we call the paranormal. Their bonds with each other reach far beyond friendship, resulting in a pull no punches approach to the many subjects they explore. Their goal? To open eyes, hearts, and even minds to what lies on the other side, and the answers residing there.
Hey everybody, welcome. How are you, Brandy? Are we getting service now?
I hope so. I've had to go back to my phone, so I hope so.
Actually, you're clear and I can hear you right now. So
Well, I've got it plugged in and everything else, so I'm hoping this works for the moment.
don't move, don't burp, don't do
I
anything.
know, just don't do anything. This is it.
Don't touch your phone, nothing.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, how's your week been? Hot?
Well, we talked about it last night. It has been super hot. Of course, my place of employment does not believe in air conditioning, I guess. So I go without air every day, and it's hot. They blow around hot air, but it doesn't really help.
Yeah. It's so hot here. I think it hit in the hundreds yesterday and today.
Yeah.
It's hard to breathe out there. It's awful.
Yeah, the humidity is what's a killer. Because they were
Yeah.
saying that heat index of 108 to 112 or something. It was nuts down here.
Right. Yeah. And then being in an enclosed building, that's got to be awful.
Yeah. Well, they do have bay doors. They open that for us too. But
oh, really?
yeah.
How generous.
I mean, except for the air that we don't get. I mean, we do have flies and mosquitoes,
Right. Yeah.
Yes, and the flies bite. The flies bite. There's no doubt about it. They bite.
I hear you. Why don't you remind everybody what to watch this week, and then we'll get on with this show.
Sure. On Monday nights, of course, it is Texas Front Porch with Tex and I. That is at 8 p.m. Central. On Tuesday, it's Van Buren Variety. Now, he comes on at 7 p.m. Central. Remember to go to each and everyone's personal channel and hit the like and subscribe button, and hit the notification too, because we no longer simulcast. At 8 p.m. on Tuesday, we have Beyond BMR with Bigfoot Michigan Rob. Wednesday, I think it is at 10 p.m. Central. I could be wrong. It might be 11 p.m. Central. I'm still not sure on the time zones, but that is Danielle Diva in the Diva Dimension. Then there's Thursday. Thursdays are great days, of course, because we're on. But no, Bigfoot Michigan Rob comes on with Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan Rob and his lovely co-host Krista. But at 8 p.m. Central, of course, it's us, Blondes and Booze. On Friday at 8 p.m. Central, it is us again with Blondes, Booze. And if you can't get enough, we're going to do a little more woo, of course. On Saturdays, Tex and Danielle Diva do their next episode of Infamous Minds. And don't forget to catch Jason McLean on his own channel of Jason McLean Questions Everything. And then he is on Untold Radio. That is AM radio. Check him out. I think it's at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight's show, we're going to talk about, we had a blast last weekend in Gatlinburg, and we actually recruited a couple friends to come on with us and talk, because we had a great time. So I'm going to bring up Robbie Raines from DA Ex Machina and What's Really Out There. and the Nana Boss.
Hey, everybody.
I know they really didn't get to see me before, I was all blinking in and out and trying to figure it out. I'm like, well, crap, I'm going to go to my phone. So
Right.
here we
There you
go.
go.
I made it. Little
You're
weird looking, but I'm here.
You're like
Yeah.
crystal clear right now. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't burp, don't fart, don't do nothing.
I promise not to fart. I promise not to fart.
Yeah, because I'm
Hit the mute button if you do.
Okay. At least
Right.
it's not smell-o-vision, right? No smell-o-vision.
right.
Okay. All right. We're good.
So last weekend, as most of you know, we went to Gatlinburg Bigfoot Conference, and the four of us here plus four others, we all bunked together. We rented a house, and we had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the conference
good
was so
time.
worth it. All the way from the drive down to even on the way home, Marty and I, we drove through the LBL, so it was fun. And Brandy had a hitchhiker.
Always have a hitchhiker, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But, I always have a hitchhiker. It doesn't matter where I go. It just doesn't matter.
Right. Glenn Dennison says, Brandy, he'll fart for you.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you.
Aw, that's so
That's so
sweet. That is really sweet. I mean,
I realize it's human nature, but that's just something nobody needs to hear. You know what I'm saying?
but
Nobody needs to hear that.
a girl doesn't get that kind of,
We
admiration.
flew. We flew. Yeah, we flew. We don't fart, we flew.
That's right.
There you go. It was fun though. Like we ended up having, so Friday night we all got down there and we went and sat up our booth, at least Marty and Robbie and myself, set up our stuff. And so that was kind of cool. However, to get there, it took us 30 minutes to go 1 block in Gatlinburg. It was awful.
Yeah.
And by the time you guys were going out there with all the traffic that I had run into, I was still an hour and a half out from where we were staying. I wasn't even anywhere close. And if they're only moving a half hour or like a half mile or a block, basically in a half hour, there was no way that I could have made it. It was just the crashes and the construction. My trip said that it was going to take me 7.5 hours due to traffic, right?
Mm-hmm.
10 hours later, I'm pulling into Seversville, which we're still, what was it, an hour and a half from there? And it's only like 20 miles or something.
It's not even that far. It was 6 miles from.
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
Seversville
There you go. See?
to Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the traffic, but actually Marty flew into St. Louis and on the Wednesday night before, and we went outside and did a little UFOing, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We did, and we had some weird stuff up in the sky happen, and that was kind of cool. And that next morning we did Rob's show, and we hit the road. We went to Bart and Letitia's and spent the night there, and that was fun. That was a fun trip. That was a good time. So then that Saturday, everybody
I was way creeped out at the woods across the street from Bart and Letitia's. I was just like creeped out. I was like, okay, we have to go get our suitcases, but I'm not going out there alone. Not going. Nope. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Right. And it was
creepy.
It was probably after midnight before we all went inside and went to bed.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm like, Bart, you got to help me out here, dude, because
right. Yeah, it was I don't know. I never really got the weird vibes from the woods there by their house.
I didn't either. I guess it's because, one morning, Bart and I were standing out there and we just saw deer, I'm just playing around out there. So I'm like, it is what it is. Yeah. I never got freaked out. So,
Letitia did tell us, we were sitting outside that evening, the four of us, and Letitia did tell us about a little story with the woods there. So that was kind of a creepy, which kind of made
that's probably what sets you off, Marty.
No,
She had a
I'll tell you, I got out of the car, my feet hit the ground, and I'm like, oh man, this is not.
Yeah.
Like, I got the creep factor immediately. I was like, oh no.
Right. So anyway, we left fairly early, and I got to tell you, our drive, my GPS kept rerouting us. But we went through some of the prettiest country.
Yes. Oh my God.
To get there. It was all back roads, most of it. I would say probably 80% of it was all back roads. Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We would come upon, there was an accident, but fortunately it was on the opposite sides of the roads. And I don't know how we dodged that, but we did.
Yeah, we did.
No, you left it for me is what you did. You left it for me.
Right.
Because I got to slam all the way there.
Robbie, how long was your trip to Gatlinburg?
About 2 hours and 20. Well, it was supposed to be 2 hours and 20 minutes, but kind of like Brandy, that turned into about 3 hours because it took me to go from, I think it said 10 miles when I was coming up on DA's hotel.
Yeah.
It took me 40 minutes to go 10 miles.
Yeah. It was awful. Somebody asked Freaky Geek asked, would you have made it sooner had you taken a bike or walked? Absolutely. But we had our cars. Our cars were filled with our stuff. So, and then on top of it, everywhere around the event center, you have to pay to park.
Yeah.
So,
and they were small parking areas. Like they were filling up really, yeah. So
I've been to New York City, and I don't think there's as many people in New York City as there was
in Gatlinburg. Yeah.
Well, I'm used to that kind of like traffic and pedestrian type traffic.
Oh no.
That's exactly what it's like if you come down and you go to South Beach. Like that is what you're going to get.
I was like, this is not the Gatlinburg that I remember from 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
I've been to Gatlinburg a million times because it ain't that far from me. And I have never in my life seen Gatlinburg like that ever.
Yeah. And I wonder if it was, I think they had the Bigfoot conference, they had a beauty pageant and something else going on, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't understand how they booked that in the same weekend. That was crazy.
Yeah. So you had all these pretty girls and then you had all these Bigfoots all over town.
Yeah. Yeah, polar opposites. It wasn't. Yeah.
It was quite interesting. It was definitely interesting. I'll show you a snapshot here. Brandy, you should have taken a picture, but this is on our trip there. Me and Marty and Letitia. That was somewhere in some woods, some hill, somewhere.
Who knows?
Who knows?
At that point, we were up and down so many hills and roads. I was like, holy cow. I'm used to being, 3 foot above sea level. So anything over that is a hill to me.
Right.
And, and I couldn't have taken a picture of myself. I was so stressed out. I thought I was going to lose it in my car. So like I was going to lose it. I'm thinking this is going to be a nice drive. Yeah. Right before Nashville, it just went all downhill.
It was crazy. It was definitely crazy. So then we get to the event center, finally unpack and stuff. And by that time we had to fight people again to leave. So I was kind of crabby.
We all were crabby. We all had our moments.
Exhausted and tired.
Yeah. We all had our moments, trust me. Because to do an event like this, yeah, it's great to go and it's great to see all these people, but let me tell you how exhausting it is. I literally stood on my feet all day long, talked to all kinds of people. And then by the end, you're like, I don't want to talk to nobody else. If I don't know you, don't talk to me.
I think my crabby moment was the day we were leaving. Robbie missed that part because he left earlier than everybody else. So he missed that part. I was crabby. I was very crabby. I was like, I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. I don't got no more patience. I got no more, zero.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, Krista, let's just go home.
Yeah. They're all tired and they're crabby until they get to the LBL and they're like, we're stopping.
I know.
We've got to stop.
I mean, she come all the way from Florida. She can't be within miles of it and not go through the LBL.
I know. You know,
when
that
when she offered
absolutely.
it, I just was like, "Oh my God, are you serious right now? Like, are you serious?" And she's like,
You know, and they had called. Okay, now listen, Robbie, you weren't even in on this part. They called me and said, "Hey, you want to stop by the LBL?" I'm like, "Well, sure." You know, I said, "Well, are you getting off at?" She said, "Cadiz," and I said, "Okay, how far out are you?" She, "Oh, about an hour and a half." I said, "Krista, I'm 26 miles from it right now." I made it home in 6 hours and 38 minutes.
Yeah, compared to your
Took
10
me
hours.
10 hours to get there, but 6 hours and 38 minutes to get home. And they left before me and were still an hour and a half behind me. So I was like, I'd love to, but ladies, that's an hour and a half. I'm not willing to wait. I'm going home.
Yep. So we'll go back on Friday. Friday night, we all finally settled in, and Marty, you cooked dinner for all of us, and it was amazing. It was a pasta dish. It was very good, and we had for those of you that don't know, if you guys watch DA Ex Machina, you'll know. But Robbie got promoted to corporal, so we not only had his promotion party, but it was also Letitia's birthday the day before.
And y'all hid that from me very well, by the way. I had no clue until you brought the cakes out. So I was just.
We're good, aren't we?
And I saw 2 cakes sitting there and just never. I was like, oh well.
Well, Marty was literally outside putting them decorations together, so she could just run inside and start putting them up because you wouldn't leave. You were just like.
I kept telling him, I'm like, I can't decorate because he won't leave. He's not leaving. And then Krista, Brandy, one of them, they were like, you know what? I guarantee you he ain't even going to notice you're putting them up. And they were so right.
He didn't.
He didn't even notice.
Right in the room.
I'm like walking around and I'm like, we're tying this and putting this. And then he's just all like,
Well, here's a picture of Robbie's cake. There's Robbie's cake. We did yours in blue, Robbie, and Letitia's. You can't hardly read her name. The woman did an awful job on spelling Letitia's name. It's supposed to say HB Letitia. I'm not sure exactly.
I'm not sure what that says. I see the L and the A, but in the middle it looks kind of messed up.
Right? That's what I'm saying. At least we can
well,
read
she got the hint.
Right. And we can at least read Robbie's, so that works.
At that point, I don't think anybody cared.
What's that?
At that point, I don't think anybody cared.
No, because we had some good food and we had some drinks going. So we also invited a few other friends. DA and his wife came over, and our friend Greg Ogles and Brent from Relic Films, they too came over, and so that was fun. I'll show you guys some of the pictures here from that. So there's Robbie and DA. And the party had to
bring them some bourbon.
Oh, look at them handsome fellers. Look at them.
I had to bring them some bourbon.
Yep. And then there's Letitia and her birthday cake.
Yep.
And then we have Robbie in front of his promotion cake. And then these were just some of us hanging out here. This is Annette. This is DA's wife. And then our friend Greg and Brent behind.
I love Annette. I love you, Annette.
And then we have Brandy and I and Bart and Letitia. And then we have DA and Robbie and Norm. I guess a lot of people don't really know Norm though, but he is on What's Really Out There with you, Robbie, isn't he? Yep. So anyway, Friday night was a blast. That was fun. I think fortunately I did not wake up hungover. I woke up tired, but not hungover. Did any of you guys wake up hungover?
No, but I sure.
I didn't even drink enough to even remotely say I did.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like nothing tasted good except for what was I drinking? I think it was a Coke or something. I think I stole it from Porch.
Well, and I think Greg made you a Long Island iced tea.
I did have a Long Island iced tea. And I didn't even drink all of that, but it was probably about the best thing I'd had.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. And then let's talk about when we went to bed. So Brandy and I always bunk together. We share rooms everywhere we go. And Brandy has no other way to say it but an attachment.
I do.
And the attachment decided to come to Gatlinburg.
Yes.
So Brandy, why don't you pick up on that story? Because I see that Anna is out in chat also. She had a little weirdness. And Robbie, you heard something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's like Anna wants to know because the poo hit the fan, and I told her why, and we'll get into that in just a second. But it first started off is I got there and I finally calmed down for my drive. You know, my anxiety was just running at a premium, I guess. And I finally calmed down and you know, Krista and Marty, they gone to the store, they had to get stuff for dinner. So Robbie and I were sitting there and we're talking and blah, blah, blah. Well, we noticed that there's this like door underneath the stairs. And I was kidding. And I said, look, there's where Harry Potter stays, you know, the little cabinet under the door, because that's what it looked like. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, and I knocked on it and I'm like, hello, hello.
And it had
you know, nothing happened. Yeah, nothing. And it had a lock on it. So, you know, you couldn't open it. So I'm like, all right. So I went to sit down in the living room and he walks over in the living room towards the front door. And then there was this bang type sound. And I said, did you hear that? Robbie says, I thought it was you. I thought you hit the table. I said, no. And Robbie, didn't I? I went stomping around all on the floor to see if we can get one of them boards to move that door or anything. And nothing.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
That was on Friday. That was the first day we got there. I mean, I probably hadn't been there an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. And then it already started happening. And
well,
then
let's back up real quick. Let's back up real quick. Because Brandy, you beat us to the house. And the house,
I did.
I booked it on Airbnb. It had great reviews and it was cute.
Yes.
The house was really cute.
Yes.
However, Brandy calls me and she says, you put us in, what was your word?
You put us in the hood.
Did you know this house is in the ghetto? You said
like, no, it's not.
That's not what the review said. I'm like, honey, it's in the ghetto.
So
I'm like, kids here.
Yeah. So honestly, it's a good thing that we had Robbie, who's a cop, with us, and we had Bart. He stayed there too, and he had nightmares. So we were protected.
Oh, we were way protected.
Yeah.
We were good. So anyway, but that was kind of it really was a hood. And you know, I'm sitting there arguing with her on the phone about it. But when we pulled up, I told Marty, I was like, oh my God, she's right. It is the hood.
But inside that house, though, it was like out of a magazine.
Yeah.
It was cute. Yeah.
It was like out of a magazine. It was gorgeous. Gorgeous.
It was an older house that had been renovated.
Completely renovated. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a nice house. So we'll fast forward. Brandy and I get ready to go to bed.
Yes. Well, so if any of you had seen the picture, we posted it on our Facebook page, and I said, this is what happens when Krista doesn't turn off the light. So you'll see a picture of me looking at the phone, and she's there on her phone, and the light's on. So right. I made a little fun about that. Anyway, so before we were doing that, we were getting changed. We were getting ready to lay down. And all of a sudden, there was a big old knock again in that particular room, except it was over by the closet door towards the end of the bed. And she's like, did you hear that? I said, I did. And we just laugh it off because this is normal for me and Krista. We're just like, oh, you know, it's funny to us because we're like, oh, we got something. So I'm like, all right.
I got up and I yelled out to see if anybody else had heard that.
Yeah, I think you did. I did. Yeah. And nobody ever said anything that they heard anything.
Yeah.
It was just us.
Yeah. And then I thought I heard it like in the bathroom too.
You might have. Now you might have. I wasn't in there, so I didn't hear nothing. And plus there was a lot of people in the house and moving around. So if you heard it in the bathroom, I probably wouldn't have known. What's that, Robbie?
I said that was probably when I knocked the shower curtain down because it was.
I heard that.
Well, it was just sitting where the towel. It was just sitting there. It wasn't wedged in like it's supposed to. So when I opened the curtain, the rod just turned sideways and fell down. I was like, oh, trying to catch it.
He was using his Superman
remember
strength
that.
and ripped that sucker right open. Knocked the whole curtain down. And we're all in there yelling, "Are you okay?" Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Brady, you're like, well, I sure hope whoever's in there is all right.
I was more focused on trying to catch the thing, keep hitting me in the head. So if y'all said anything, I didn't hear it.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But anyway, it didn't end there. But we'll keep going. Well, let's move on to Saturday. What happened Saturday morning? I said,
early.
yeah, I said, hey, let's get up early. Let's get out of the house by, what did I say? 6:15, 6:15, 6:30. I said, let's get out of here. If we're going to have that same traffic we had yesterday, let's get up. Well, we all got up and everybody was moving right along, and we got on the road and there was nobody on the road. I mean, hardly nobody. We even stopped at the gas station, got us some drinks and stuff to take with us. There was nobody, just nobody.
Nobody but us.
I mean, but if I would have said, okay,
on Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'm like, well, okay, if I would have said 6:45, 7 o'clock, we would have never made it, I'm sure. I mean, because I said later, because I said earlier, nobody's on the road.
I was determined not to pay $20 freaking for a parking spot. I wanted my $10 spot back.
Which was a good one, because, you know, we had to walk down through this tunnel and then back of the convention center to walk all the way around to where we're supposed to be, which is not a short walk. So you have to go all the way through that. And believe me, I will tell you this, it's a long walk, but it's much better going than it is coming back. Going back's all uphill. It's horrible.
All uphill. Yeah. Yep.
And
better than the way I went back, though.
Yeah, we'll get to your story about.
We're gonna get to your story in a minute.
Yeah.
So then, you know, we get in, we get everything all set up, and it's all good from that, you know, from that point on. It's good. We're in our spot. The only problem that we had was the phone service was horrible.
Oh, it was so
we were going to try and do maybe a short live or, you know, anything, but you couldn't get a signal. People were having a hard time just logging in anywhere.
Right.
Right. You couldn't get a signal anywhere.
No,
Right.
It was awful. And part of our deal, Brandy, you want to tell them like what we do? We don't sell anything. You want to tell them what we do?
Oh gosh, no. What we do is, we get out there and we talk to everybody, and we do kind of a raffle type deal. It's like, hey, if you subscribe to us today, we'll put you in this raffle, and it depends on whatever gift I bring that day is what we put you in for a raffle. And it's just fun to talk to people. I'd rather give stuff away than sell it. I mean, I realize at some point we're going to have to do that with our merchandise and things like that. I get that. But right now it's fun to give things away. People are so happy when they get stuff. You know, it just makes people smile. It's a lot better.
Yep. So throughout the day we had, Brandy and I were on a corner spot. So we shared our other table with Robbie and our friend Greg and Brent and Janice from Relic Films. So we were all kind of just, you know, sitting throughout the day, and people were coming by, and we met a lot of people. And I'm sorry, I don't see him in chat. Good thing, but I don't remember his name. But he come up and said he watches and stuff. Somebody asked, was Tony Merkel at the Bigfoot convention? Yes, he was. And honestly, Tony Merkel is the only one that we didn't get pictures with.
Right. Well, that we wanted pictures with. Let's rephrase that.
Pictures with. Yeah, let's rephrase that. So I'll go through and I'll show you guys some of the pictures and some of the people that was there. So Small Town Monsters was there, and I'm a huge fan of theirs. If you guys haven't watched their stuff, go and watch their stuff. Because I mean, they've got a lot of great documentaries out there. And so the first one I'll show is Eli Watson. And we have everybody take a picture in front of our Blondes banners. And there's Heather Mosier from there. And then this one is Seth Breedlove. So we always have people, whenever we do these events, just come and stand in front of our banners and take pictures with us. And So those were 3 that actually came by and were like, hey.
And they're, and they're so cool because you're like, hey, well, I know Heather, so that's fine. But I mean, the other people, you're just like, hey, will you take a picture with us? Oh, sure, no problem. Hey, they step right up there, take their picture, and boom, on they go. We only keep them for a very short amount of time. We don't keep them forever.
Keep what? I keep the pictures.
People.
Oh,
yeah, we don't keep people forever.
I was like,
because you know how people do that. I mean, I've seen a lot of that where somebody with a name walks up and then next thing you know, people are wanting to engage them for 30, 45 minutes. We ran into it. But I mean, people want to engage, but I know they don't have that kind of time. So, it's just quick and easy. It's just okay. Hey, take a picture.
And sign our banner. We have a banner
that
we have people sign also, and we'll talk about that here in just a few. But we also I'll get through these pictures here. So here's us and DA in front of our banners. And then we have Mr. Robbie right there.
Look at Robbie.
In front of our banner. And then this is our friend Greg with Relic Films. And now this picture here was kind of funny. It's Brandy and I on the outside of Letitia and Anna. And Anna was in chat. I did see her. She's Jonesstead Farm. She also stayed with us in the house this weekend, her and her husband. But it was the blondes, and they both had the Inhumanoids Barton shirts on. So that was kind of cool. And then we'll go down to this one. This is I remember when this was taken. The lady with the squatching shirt, that is Martin Groves' wife, Sheila. And then we have Letitia and our very own Nana Boss with Brandy and I. And then this one, Adam Davies. He was actually, I just seen him in chat on our Facebook chat. So there you are, Adam. You're not getting out of here without being mentioned.
There you go.
Yeah. And then we have Martin Groves. And he's a great guy. And then our brother from another mother, Mr. Barton Nunley. So we met a lot of great people, and those were the ones that we asked to, take pictures with us and all that good stuff. And a lot of them, signed our banner.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So let's talk that little story about the banner signing.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, we got to talk about that.
So Marty, were you at the table at that time? Yes.
Right there.
I think you were sitting on one side of me. And Robbie was on my left side. You were on my right side.
I was actually on the outside of the table because that was me. Right as me and Brandy were aggravating each other about me packing my stuff up because I had my arm propped up on my boxes when she came by.
That's right.
And I was right behind Brandy. So it was. I saw the whole deal. I saw the whole thing.
Yeah. Because I was standing in front of the table, me and Robbie were, and then you and Krista were sitting behind the table. So we all had the view of what was happening. We could all hear what was happening. And Anna heard everything and saw everything because she was just sitting kitty corner from us. So she could hear everything.
Yes. So Renee Holland from what's that show? Finding Bigfoot.
Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah. So she come up and she's like, oh, I heard of you guys. We're like, oh, thanks. And Brandy's first thing was, well, did you subscribe?
I'm being funny because I smiled a big smile at her. Like, I know you don't have time, but I was just being, me.
Yeah. Which at
so
the time
I gave her a real big smile.
Yeah. She come over and said, to say hi. I thought that was nice,
Yes. Right.
So anyway, she come over and we have the banner out in front of the table, so where people just can kind of see our signature, see who we have signed. And I asked her, I said, well, will you sign our banner? And she got all excited. Oh, sure, and we have a silver marker. And I handed it to her, and she's like, oh, where did Cliff and Matt sign? I'm like, they haven't. And she dropped that marker like stink on poo. And she's like, well, I'll go get them and we'll all come back and sign it together or something like that. Something in those terms.
Yeah. So at that point, Kristen and I kind of looked at each other because we knew right then she's not coming back. There's no way. Because when these people, they're there for a reason. They're there to work. They're making money. And we get that. If they come and say hi to you, that's probably about the only chance you're going to get. You know, you usually don't see these people twice if they come around. So we both looked at each other like, she's not coming back. She's not. I mean, why would you say that? Why would you say that? I just didn't understand that.
Yeah. So I usually don't blast people, as most of you guys know, and say names, but I just thought, you know what? She was really rude. And honest to God, on our banner, we have, I mean, all of you guys have signed our banner, and, you know, we have people in the paranormal world. We even have John Zaffis has signed our banner. And, you know, we personally know a lot of people in the paranormal and the cryptid world that would never do that and be rude to their fans. And that is the only reason why I am blasting her name tonight on the show.
Well, you know, she could have gone to the point, well, she could have gone many ways with this. She could have said, well, I'm going to sign right here and I'm going to get them to come back and sign it too. Or she said, I'm going to sign my name and I'm going to let them know I signed my name first. Or she could have went any which way with this, but still signed it. It'd have taken her all of 5 seconds to do it when she was holding the pen in her hand. You know, she could have done it. But, you know, that brings me. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate you. Thank you
very much, Cynthia.
But she had the point to just do it. And to, you know, for us, it's like empowering women. You know, we've got to stick together at this point. So why would you not do that? We're the little guy. You got to remember the little guy. You know, I mean, we're not huge. We're, you know,
practically threw the marker back.
I mean, she
really did. She literally went like threw it.
Yeah,
like,
she
at the table.
Did it like that.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, you know, and you know, we know that people have experience with her that are really neat and cool and stuff, but we just didn't. You know, we're out there. It's like we're trying to do things too. Remember the little guy.
Because I'm sure she was there once.
Yes, right? She was there once.
She was a nobody before that show.
Right. And she should know that how hard it is for women to break into this. I'm sorry, Robbie. I don't mean to be rude to you right now, but I'm gonna say we know how hard it is for women to break into any field whatsoever. I mean, because in the paranormal field, let's face it, if you're in the paranormal, I mean, everybody thinks you should be a psychic medium. Everybody. Yeah, if you're female, you're a psychic medium. Okay. If it's cryptid, well, you're nothing. So that, you know, she should know how hard it is on this side, on the women's side. That's why I just, you know, I thought that we would get a better response from her, you know, more of a,
And I really thought when she first came up and approached the table and was like, oh, you're blondes and booze, I've heard of you. I really thought maybe RPG, because RPG signed your banner.
Yes.
He did. And I thought, oh, well, maybe RPG kind of said, hey, go see my friends over there, you know, because RPG was like, you know, like.
And we've had that. Yeah. I mean, it was great.
Yeah. It was like great. So awesome. And then it was like, it just turned sour so fast, like so quick.
I went, what?
I really couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened?
And
all of us literally kind of was like, we were all looking at each other like, what just happened here? Like, what the heck?
Like, did that just happen? Did she really just throw that pen back at me?
Yeah. You know, I thought Robbie's head like snapped to the side, like,
I know.
What just happened? What just happened? You know?
It was so,
you know, it's
so
not
disrespectful. It was disrespectful. She went out of her way. I felt like she went out of her way to be disrespectful at that point.
Yeah, I'm not throwing hate at her by any means. I am throwing disappointment. Yeah, I am throwing a lot of disappointment.
Yeah,
because I was disappointed in that. You know, I was. When you meet people that you know, you see them on TV and all of this other kind of stuff, and you finally get to meet them, and you expect a little bit different. And I don't care what kind of person it is, what if they're in movies or whatever, you expect kind of a little bit more of a
humble attitude.
Thank you. Thank you. Because all good things come to an end.
Yeah.
Including careers. I'm sorry, but it happens.
Yeah.
So, you have to pay attention to us little guys.
Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, because while you guys were like working your table and all of that, like I was walking around and I was literally talking to everybody. I was going to every single vendor. I went down the line and I met every single person. I talked to so many amazing researchers. I got so many photos with so many of these other amazing podcasters, Brian King Sharp, Wayne from Animal Research, like, the Kentucky X-Files guys. Like I was out there, like I was out just meeting everybody, talking to everybody. And not one person was like, no, I don't want a picture, or no, everybody,
Exactly.
every single suite, just absolutely, like, just willing to like be there for the fans, everybody.
Yeah.
And it really was disappointing and disheartening for us to have experienced that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not throwing hate at her at all. I'm just throwing a little bit of disappointment. She's coming up on an all-female podcast group, and
right.
in hearing, knowing of us anyway, and knowing what we do, she should have, just
signed the banner.
Something, just sign the banner. Make us happy.
Sign the banner. It's just a signature. I mean, we would have thrown you $5, Renee, if you'd asked for it. We would have thrown it to you, sister. We would have done it.
I wouldn't have. At that point, I was like, I was never really a fan of the show anyway. I got to tell you, I like Bobo, and I hear he's pretty cool. And I don't know the other two, so I can't say anything for them, but I was just very, like Brandy said, very disappointed in her reaction.
Yeah. Especially she's a female, we're females. You kind of have to stick together. And I didn't feel like she was a part of our community at all. And, which is okay.
But she's really not, in a way. She really isn't, because she's a skeptic and supposedly doesn't believe and doesn't whatever. So maybe she's not part of our tribe after all.
Maybe not. But anyway, enough negativity. Enough of that. Because we got hauntings to talk about.
Yes.
We got other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So, it's Saturday night. I think it was Saturday night. After all this was done, we went to the restaurant. Now, we've been telling everybody that, hey, I am going to ride this mechanical donkey. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it first, right? I told everybody that. And I was going to. Boy, I even said, I'll even go first and let everybody laugh at me. I'm like, okay. So we get down there, we sit down, and then the sign, there's a sign on the donkey. It says, out of order. So after the whole Renee thing happened, it was the next thing I had to look forward to. And then I couldn't even ride the donkey. I was so upset. And then somebody had asked how long the donkey had been broken. And they said 2 months. 2 months. I said, this is like, thank you, Maggie. This is one of those things that people pride themselves on, is riding the donkey. I mean, it's one of the things that are the draw for this restaurant. And believe me, that restaurant was packed. So they're not lacking money by any means.
So Robbie, I have a question, because you've been there before to the Ride the Donkey place.
Ride the Donkey place.
I can't even remember the name, except it's crazy.
Place to save her.
It's crazy. It's crazy arse.
There you go.
Crazy
arse.
Crazy arse. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you were there, did you watch people ride the donkey?
Oh yeah.
And is it because it looks like one of those Bronco bulls, similar to that. So some people stay on, some
mechanics
don't.
Underneath, it's just got the donkey on the top of it instead of a bull head.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so so this is, this is the pride and joy of this restaurant in Gatlinburg. It's what it's known for. And it's broken. I was upset.
Well,
But our table was,
it made up
next to
for
a
it
different
with
donkey.
Marty's serenader that was staring at her lovingly.
I remember that.
Robbie.
And then I got annoyed, everyone. Let's just talk about it. Somebody that I didn't care to sit next to, I got annoyed. Very annoyed.
Well, but Robbie sat there and I'm like paying no attention, and he's just like, it's like points up to this freaking thing there, and I'm like, I turn and I look, and it was staring right at me.
It's another donkey, may I add.
Another donkey at the table.
Yeah, a big donkey, like
right. So
dogman-sized donkey.
Right. So I did wear a shirt just for Robbie because Robbie made fun of me all night for this. Okay. It says, if my mouth doesn't say it, my face definitely will.
And I got that picture.
You do. You do.
So I have got this look on my face that I would rather be anywhere but right there at that moment. So anyway.
Suji asked real quick, what's it called again?
Loco Burrow.
The Loco Burrow. The crazy arse.
Crazy
and
donkey.
I have to say the arse part. The arse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, a really cute restaurant and everything. I mean, you could have sat outside, you could have sat inside, and it was really cute and everything, but I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
I just was. I was like, man, we've been talking about this for weeks. We should have called ahead. Is the donkey broke?
Well, I did call ahead, but I did ask if the donkey was broke. I did call ahead, but I didn't ask that question because I just assumed it was.
Yeah, because I think that would have changed our whole our whole dinner plans, if we would have found that out.
It was a good restaurant, though. They had good food.
It was good. It was good. It really was.
Yeah, and they gave you a lot of food. I didn't finish my plate.
No, I didn't either. I had to give up.
My gosh, it was so much food.
Right. So then, so after that, we finally walked the mountain back to the cars. It seemed like we had to walk all the way down.
Seriously, how far would you say that walk was? Because we did have to walk uphill.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, if it was on flat ground, it wouldn't have been that far, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have called it 2 city blocks, maybe.
Yeah. But, you know what? Back up to Robbie. Robbie really had a stretch.
Gosh, we do. Robbie has to tell his story about when he went.
About
okay,
cleaning
Robbie.
up. When at the end of the night, to pack up all of her stuff, Robbie, you tell him about what happened to you.
Well, like Brandy was saying, it was a long walk walking down that because you had to walk down that ramp and up the other ramp and all the way back in. Well, where they were letting people come into the front or to the front of the building, or what we were calling the front of the building, wasn't actually the front of the building, but that's what we were calling it. So I look at Kristen, I said, it would probably be easier to go out that way because that's right across from where we parked. She goes, yeah, I bet it would. So I get the heaviest one of my boxes. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go that way. Well, the way they were shuffling people out, instead of going out which is really the side of the building, but what I thought was the front of the building, I actually went out the front of the building. As I went out and realized where I was at, the little guy that was at the door shut the door and locked it. And I'm like, oh no. I was up on top of those big steps, like where you got the picture of the banners at front, Marty. I was up on top of those big steps that go all the way down to the main. When I walked down, I could see where we went and ate supper at that night.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is gonna suck because I had my cowboy boots on, blue jeans,
and your hat,
and my hat, and had that big Tupperware container with those 2 bow racks in it and 3 flags, and I'm like, oh boy.
And we kept saying, like, what happened to Robbie? Where did he go?
Like 90. It was 90 degrees out there.
And finally, you called me.
Well,
you called Marty, but then I didn't realize you had texted me until we got out to the car and had already met up with you.
Yep. Well, I had to wait till I got somewhere within the shade where I could stop before I could actually call. Because if I'd have stopped anywhere else, I'd have gotten mobbed by people that were just all over the place. because
Yeah.
I was having to move around people trying to carry this box, and I tried to get it up on my shoulder, and every time I try to get it up on my shoulder, it hit the side of my hat and knocked my head sideways. I'm like,
Do you ladies think we could get some security footage from the venue so we
That
could
would
see
be-
that happening in
that'd be
real time?
no, I stayed to the shadows. I stayed up against the side of the building. Out of camera
Robbie
view.
outside having a heat stroke.
Right.
I-
Oh my God, when I heard his voice, I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?
I said, this was the dumbest idea I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, it was fun. It was. Now we can laugh about it.
Yeah. We laughed
Yeah.
now, not in the moment. We thought he was
So-
dying.
So he still had a box in there. Well, we still had blonde stuff, and obviously they're locking the doors. So we had to do like a one-trip thing. So Marty and I, you took one end, I took the other end, and then we started walking up the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely crazy. You know what? We're getting ready to come up to the 52-minute mark. And when we come back, we'll talk more about Brandy's ghost because she can tell us more about because she's had some encounters this week. And then I also have pictures of we stole Robbie's hat, and we'll talk about that too when we come back.
Yes.
So if you guys give us 5 minutes, stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes and for more. See you in 5.
Four minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. Two-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around with us. We appreciate it. So where were we? We were talking about Robbie's.
Laughing at my
Robbie's
Yeah, we were laughing.
heart attack.
We were laughing. So most of you know Robbie wears the hat, and on the DA show, DA even calls him Robbie Rip Reigns. And you do look similar, I gotta say.
My beard's a little grayer than his is, but you know,
But
I hadn't colored it in a while.
but yeah. So we've been teasing him for the last 2 weeks. We were going to steal his hat, and we did. So here's
I'll say
Marty.
this again though, it's not
There's
stealing
Marty
if
in
I'm
it.
standing there waiting to grab it back when the picture's done.
Marty in it. And there's Brandy. And here's me. So we passed it around just like we would a shot of something.
A good bottle of whiskey.
There you go.
And for the rest of the entire weekend, Robbie had it on lockdown. Okay. Robbie had it on lockdown. We got no more pictures with the hat. The hat was nowhere except on his head.
Yes.
Right.
And he was armed.
So that was
He wasn't giving that up for nothing.
Mm-mm.
You know.
He's like, no, you ladies had your fun. That's it. Done.
yeah, it's mine. I get it back.
I
That was the night of his party. So he was he had a couple drinks and loosened up to let us have it for just like 15 seconds.
Just enough to take the picture because he was there with his hand out waiting for it. He's like,
well, I got mine in his
I'm
truck
ready.
though. I
You
got
did.
mine in his truck.
You did.
I stole
You
it.
did.
I was there 2 seconds and had it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put stuff in the back of the truck. I get back in the front of the truck because I'm gonna drive them back to their car to be nice. And I get in my truck and there she is with my hat on, taking her picture. I'm like, really? You've been in the cab of the truck 2 seconds. You've already got my hat.
Yep. Yeah. And Old Spirit Art says, poor guy outnumbered. And yeah, he was.
he didn't stand a chance.
No.
But he handled it. He handled it well.
Yes.
Where's it at right now?
It's on your head.
That's right.
On your head.
Well, none of us can get through the computer to grab it.
I'm right.
I know.
It came back to me. That's what I'm saying.
I'll figure out how to do it.
Yep.
If I could have got it on the plane, trust me, the hat would have been back with me.
You said that in Florida. Where'd it go? It came right back on my head.
That's because I let you take it back.
Oh, you let me take it back again today. This time too.
Yes, of course I
Well,
did.
you know-
I let you.
I mean, Robbie, I do have to say, I understand. I have my favorite ball caps, and I can't part with them. No, you can't wear it. No, you can't take it. No, you can't borrow it. You can't have it. It's just period.
I thought I lost mine, and I was flipping out for 2 days.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
you were.
I was like, "Where's my hat? Where's my hat? Where's my?"
You called it. When I walked in that store when we left the restaurant, there's gonna be a decoy.
Well, it's like when I'm out in the woods or whatever, I have a particular hat. I don't know if I call it good luck, but it's my good vibration hat. It's the one that I have to wear. It's that one, it's like, I have to have that hat. And I get upset when I don't have them,
Larry says, no picture of Robbie without the hat.
Nobody wants to see that.
It's funny.
It is his signature. It is his signature.
What? Yeah. Well, Marty, you couldn't have taken it because he's going to the Dogman conference, so he'll need it for there too.
Yeah, he's gonna need it in
he's
Texas.
gonna need
Yeah,
it.
he's gonna
Going
need
to
that
Texas,
in Texas.
he's got to have a hat.
Yep, got to have a hat. So
Hey,
anyway,
that's
but
I have to get Tex to take me somewhere to get me an actual authentic Texas.
there you go. And
Hey,
Texas,
you know what?
will.
I earned my hat off Tex. Let me tell you, I earned it. He gave me his. Yeah, so I had to earn my hat. It didn't come out. It didn't come easily either. So, I mean, there's always that. You can earn a hat.
Yeah. Yep. That works. But overall, I think we had a blast. We had a great time. And it was just, friends. And here's the thing, guys, too, like, Brandy and I know Nana Bosch, we're a little woo. Robbie, however, his encounter was strictly a flesh and blood. And that it just goes to show, like, Tex is in chat. A bunch of people are in chat. We all have different views. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're all friends. And, and Tex says we won't say how she earned it.
Hey, Tex, I just want you to take me somewhere. I just want you to take me to a good store that isn't gonna rip me off. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, well, it's like I've told the story a couple times now, and I got scared, had to pull my pew, and yeah, I was a little freaked out. Just to say.
Yeah, that was funny, Tex.
Okay, so what you made fun of me about pulling my gun when we heard that noise. See, you get scared and pull yours. So I won't hear it no more.
Yeah, but listen, okay, this is the difference. Is we were indoors. We're not looking for wild hogs or feral hogs out there. I mean, in the house. I'm not expecting Bigfoot or Dogman to be in there. When I'm in a house, it's usually, if it's haunted, I'm like, okay.
So Robbie Tex said, he said, got you covered, brother. I'll take you where I got my felt.
Awesome.
Sounds like a date.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. That's a place, Robbie, that you have to go for sure.
You just got a kick out of me after we heard that sound. Me going, that's not gonna help. I said, I don't care. It makes me feel better.
Yeah. He's like, it makes me, and he's holding it to his chest like he's cradling the baby, And I'm like, that's not going to help here.
Combat tuck.
I've seen Robbie get very, very serious. Okay, when that happens, he's super serious.
Yeah, he just didn't know what to do at that point, And that was the beginning of when I realized, okay.
There's either it's probably
so real quick.
There was going to be a lot of holes in that door.
Well, Greg, this is actually Greg Ogles because I'm on the Facebook one, and he asked, "Was it a squirt gun?" Oh, we love you, Greg.
Oh my God,
squirt gun, Greg.
Oh,
I didn't mess up on the text message.
Yeah. Did you see what Paranormal Pixie said? She said, new video, Tex and Robbie go shopping.
Yeah. That could be interesting.
Hey.
That could be interesting.
Goodness me.
Anyway, but as I was saying, like it was a great time, and it just goes that, a lot of us have different beliefs, and we all have open minds, and at the end of the day, we're all still good friends, and
right.
Had a great time. Yeah. For sure. So anyway, now when we were leaving, when we left Gatlinburg, Marty and I drove through the LBO.
Well, you got to back up though. We've got to finish the haunting story.
Oh, Yeah.
because we didn't even get to that part yet.
Okay.
So after the noise that happened to me and Krista Friday night, I heard nothing else. Absolutely nothing. It was quiet. I slept fine. No problems. Everything was good until Sunday morning. Anna gets up and she comes downstairs and she says, I have to tell you this. She said, when I went to bed, I noticed my phone was on 53%.
That's right.
She said, I forgot my charger in the car and I wasn't going to go get it. So I just turned off my phone, set the phone down. I was wearing my glasses. I took them out and she has a little purse that she puts them in and it was right beside her. So she took her glasses off and put them in her purse and then she continued to go to sleep. When she woke up Sunday morning, her phone was then on 93% and her glasses were not in her purse. They were across the room in her clothing bag that she had brought in the bottom.
Yeah.
She didn't get out of bed at any time during the night to go put her glasses in her bag. She said, why would I put my glasses in the bottom of my bag?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, oh, and I just looked at her and I said, I am so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I am so sorry because this, if weird stuff happens like this, then I know it's my little friend that has come.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we went to Michigan, I didn't get bothered at all. It was Letitia and Krista where something kept getting knocked down in their room.
Yeah, well, it was actually twice. Letitia and I went up there and I was almost asleep and then we heard kaboom, something just huge fell. And she's like, oh, what was that? And I got up and I looked around and didn't see nothing. I was like, I don't know. It's probably haunted here. Didn't think nothing about it. So give it about 10 minutes later, kaboom, happens again. I'm like, oh man, it's whatever. It's ghosts, whatever. I'm going to sleep. So I fell asleep. Poor Letitia. And I honestly wasn't thinking. And had I been, she should have woke me up because that poor girl stayed up all night long, scared to death.
I know.
She's not into ghosts. Should give her a dog man, but don't give her a ghost.
Right. And she's like, Brandy, I was going to call you. I said, you should have. I slept like a baby. I had no issues. It was good.
Yeah.
I'm like, evidently my friend had somebody else to play with and I got a reprieve.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting that night. And then the fact that it went to Gatlinburg with Brandy again.
Yeah. It goes with me on occasion. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So we're going to pass this part because it gets better. We're going to pass this part and move on to Sunday morning when everybody leaves and what Krista and Marty do.
So we decided, we're driving along and it wasn't like really that far out of the way to go by the LBL. So I'm like, hey, do you want to go check it out? You come all the way from Florida. You got to at least go through the LBL,
Mm-hmm.
So we did. And we drove the Trace, which called the Trace is the main road that goes through the LBL. And so just a few pictures here of that. And then this particular cemetery that I'm going to show you guys pictures of is where that's kind of like Brandy and I go there. That's where we go to.
Yeah.
We get some things, some EVPs we've gotten and stuff from this cemetery. And it was broad daylight when we did get them. However, what I thought was interesting, and if Anna's still in chat, she knows this area that I'm showing this picture here. This is in front of the alleged 1982 kill site, the road that goes back to it. And that tree, and it could be a freak of nature. I mean, I'm not saying trees don't fall because they do. It's just kind of weird that tree's over the path that leads to that back to that area. So
yeah, I don't even see the gate. I can't see the gate.
The gate
in
was
that
open.
picture.
No, the gate was open.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Imagine that. The gate's open, but now there's a tree.
Yeah, the gate was open because we even talked about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so and the thing with the LBL, there's a lot of roads to nowhere out there, and so this just happened, I don't know. I'm not saying it's anything cryptid or, a Bigfoot pushed the tree down, but however, I was there in May and it was not there.
There was
So,
a gate and it was locked.
yeah.
And it had
So,
been locked for quite some time. I mean, you could still walk down in there. You just can't
Yeah.
drive a vehicle down in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And Anna, she said, "Oh, wow, big old tree down on that path." And she knows that path. She's walked that path. I've walked that path with her. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Not that trees don't fall, because they do,
Right? Right?
Mhm.
And they have had some storms. So
they have. Yep.
it's
Yep.
just funny how it falls right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tex says it would be really creepy if that was the tree where they found the girl's body. No, that would not.
No. No.
That's actually, you got to walk. I don't know, guessing. Yeah, and like she said, the gate was open. How interesting.
Or
Because,
the
Yeah,
tree
that's
the
what I
bicycle
said.
was wrapped around.
I didn't even see the gate in that picture.
What's that, Robbie?
Or the tree that bicycle was wrapped around from the bicyclists that were killed
Yeah.
a couple years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was just kind of something to note, for future trips. That's all I'm
Mhm.
saying. So anyway, we finished it up there. Marty and I did not get out of the car, and we just kind of drove through there, and yeah, that was it.
It was creepy. I was very ill. I got very sick. I got
Mhm.
very I even videotaped. I was videotaping us kind of driving in, doing that driving, because I wanted to kind of just experience it, but talk it. How to explain? I was just kind of I was taking video as we were driving, and I was talking through to Krista everything I was feeling.
Mhm.
And it was everything from severe nausea to tightness in my chest. I was having ringing in my ear. I was having pain in my left temple. I was having a stabbing pain in my right ear. And then I got for some reason, I don't know why, but remember I said to you, Chris, I was like, my legs feel weak all of a sudden. If I was to try to stand up at that moment, I know I would have fallen down. It was a really strange. And then I had pain in my back. And at one point I had you could see, I even turned the camera to my arm. I'm like, oh my God, I had goosebumps. Literally, I was having chills. As hot as it was, I was having chills. It was a very heavy place. When you guys talk about how heavy it is there with the energy, it's very, very, very thick. It was very weird. It was interesting. I was kind of like, oh, we're out. Yay.
Krista, did you feel anything this time when you were driving with Marty?
I put my blocks up when I go to places like that. And since I learned from the first time of being on that property, it doesn't bother me anymore.
And she kept walking me through it. She was like, push it off, push it off, push it off.
Yeah.
And of
Well,
course,
Chris and I Chris and I definitely had the same type of symptoms when we first went in. Her and I were both having the same complete, the feeling, the watery of the eyes, and the lightheadedness. We were feeling this together. It wasn't just her and it wasn't just I, or we were feeling something different. It was the same thing, same time as we started even rolling into the place. So
the very interesting thing though was I was, as I was videotaping with my iPhone, all of a sudden it would just stop recording, and it was saying that my iCloud storage was full.
Yep,
it did. It did it 3 times. And I knew that was BS because I pay extra a month to have, I don't even know how many terabytes I have. It's a whole bunch. But I pay extra for that. And I kept telling Krista, this isn't possible. This isn't possible. There's no way that my iCloud storage is full. And as soon as we got out, right, Krista, I even showed you, I'm like, look how much storage I actually have. But my phone was telling me that though. It would stop recording and I'd look down and I'm like, oh my gosh, it stopped recording again with that stupid error message. I was like, what the heck is going on? So it still had something really weird happen, you know.
And it was in different areas. It was worse than others.
Yeah.
You know, and Old Spirit Art asked, how did your stomach, your gut feel?
I was nauseous. I thought if Krista wasn't there to consciously tell me to push off the negative energy, I probably would have ended up throwing up. Like, I really was that ill. I literally, like, it's like, soon as we crossed the bridge, as soon as we hit the other side of the bridge, it just started. And I even said, I was like, I don't want what I'm feeling right now to be because I've heard things, right? I'm like, I said, don't tell me anything where anything happened. I want us to just drive through, and then I'm going to talk through what I'm feeling as we're going. And that's kind of what we did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
You took her in the same exact way that you and I went in the first time.
Yes. And then we drove up through, you know, and then passed out, you know, through Grand Rivers.
Yep. Yep. So the way you were feeling does not surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
Because that is the first.
I think I was more surprised of the other things that were happening, because I don't normally get ringing in my ears or stabbing pains in my ears or pains in my temple. You know, the weakness in my legs, that was something very new for me. I had not felt anything like that in a location before. The pain that I was having in my back, I'd never felt. Was there anything else, Krista, that you remember? I think that's about it.
All I know is that when we hit our destination that very first time, the only thing different between Krista and I is that I had a severe headache by the time we got there.
Yeah.
Krista felt fine.
Over the years, I've been doing this, and not necessarily, I don't mean like going to these type places, but I've been going to haunted locations for many years. So I like on the way going there, I told you, Marty, I said, white light yourself. And when you did, I did the same thing. So my protection, you know, is pretty good, pretty strong. And at the LBL, I definitely, anytime I step foot out there, I always do it. And I don't get bothered anymore. I'm fine out there now.
Krista and I were totally unprepared. We were unprepared.
Yeah, I think it caught me off guard. Yeah, to your point, I think it caught me very off guard. I wasn't expecting it to be as heavy as it was. I wasn't expecting to have as many physical, you know, manifestations of whatever was going on. Like, I don't know, you know, there's Krista, how many great cemeteries? 237 cemeteries there. Like, so I don't know if I was picking up maybe residual energy, maybe how someone died or someone got killed or someone, like, I don't know, like, because some of these things that I was feeling were new to me, and I had not ever had happen to me in locations before. So it was a very, it was a learning experience for me. And because I was trying to be a little bit open so that I could feel what was going on, I think that was another reason why I was feeling it as well. And Krista, thank God she was there, just kind of like, you know, push it off. Like, you know, like she kept reminding me to do that, because I was getting kind of lost in what I was feeling. And I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of letting myself be a little open, because I wanted to kind of see how I would feel and how my body would react, you know? So yeah. And it was different. It was different.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's the place is just, I don't know. There's some,
you can't describe it. You literally can't describe it until you go, really.
Right.
Because I've heard you guys describe so many times, you know, how, you know,
it affects you in many different ways. You know, not to mention this place is loaded with hematite, loaded. So, I mean, anybody who has any, I don't know, feels the vibration from crystals, this is a place you're going to feel it, because it's just everywhere. So,
yeah, we were finding hematite at our camp, not even by Hematite Lake. I mean, you got some there. We went to Hematite Lake and you got some, but back at camp, and that was miles away from Hematite Lake.
I was looking for hematite all night long, and then it got to the point where I had to pick and choose which one I wanted to keep.
Right.
So yeah, there's a ton of it there. So and the ground is loaded with ore, hence the furnace, hence them, flooding the Birmingham town, all of that stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just craziness. But yeah. So I imagine it was pretty dramatic and traumatic for you.
It was.
First
and
time
all, and all at the same time, I can't wait to go back.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. What do you think about it, Robbie?
Strange to say that, but
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm ready. I don't care what you girls say. I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep. Crazy
But
stuff.
yeah, that place is different for everyone. It is different for everyone, honestly.
And
Yeah.
you said it a minute ago, Brandy. You said, if you feel that stuff, if you're prone to feeling that stuff, what we were talking about earlier, I'm the flesh and blood guy, and I'm not saying I'm not open to that, but when I go, my focus is going to be Bigfoot, Dogman, all that stuff. So I don't think stuff like that will affect me the same it would y'all, because y'all are open to that, and that's foremost in y'all's brains is thinking about that stuff. Whereas in mine, I'm thinking tactically of, okay, what happens if we step out, we see this creature. I'm constantly scrolling through all that kind of stuff. So I think it's like you said, it's different for everybody, and I don't think stuff like that would affect me in the same way that it will y'all, because I'm just that's not up here in the front of my brain.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, that was the end of our trip, and then until we all got back, and Brandy, I'll let you tell them, Brandy.
Okay, so Sunday night was, quiet. I got home. I unloaded everything. I think I was so exhausted. I didn't care. I went pretty much straight to bed. The next day I had to get up early. It was my early day at work, so I was up at 3:00. I got home. I took a nap, and then I had to be on Texas Front Porch by I get on there about 7:45. So I'm on there, and I'm not having any issues with my technical stuff. Everything was good. And then towards the end of the show, for some reason, there was a big old thud sound, like something hit the wall. And I mean, it's like right over here from me. It's like right over, and it's something hit the wall, and I jerked my head over. Now I'm right live. You can go back and see me doing this right at the end of the show. You can see me doing it, and I'm like, okay. And then I'm hearing this da 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 around over there, and I'm like, okay. And I'm trying not to look. I'm trying not to look because I don't want to freak out. So I'm like, okay. So I just ignored it till the end of the show. And then after the end of the show, we were sitting backstage and we were talking. And I'm like, something strange is going on here. I heard something hit and da da da. I said, just a second. I picked up a flashlight and I went over there, and I'm getting all under the table and I'm trying to see what hit the wall, because something hit the wall. So I grabbed it and I showed this to Krista. This right here is one of those decorative balls that are in, you put them in a basket or a bowl and you set them on the middle of the table for decorations or whatever. This was on the floor underneath the table. This is exactly, I tried it 3 times today. This is exactly what I heard hit the wall, ended up on the floor.
How heavy is that?
It's not heavy at all. I mean, it's very light. It's like twine. It's just a ball of twine, basically. So it's really super light. It wouldn't take much to pick it up and throw it. But that's exactly what I heard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine. That was Monday. Tuesday went by. Everything was fine. It was all good. Then Wednesday night comes along. I wake up out of the blue, probably about 1:30 in the morning, just like always. I don't know why it's that time, but something wakes me up every morning at that time. And I look out the window. Now, we've discussed it before on here. If anybody remembers, I had a problem with my little friend, likes to turn on and off lights. in the garage. Don't ask me why, but this is one of the things they like to do. So I turn my head and there's a window that I can see because they added on my garage after the house was built. They took it out and then they added on a 3-bay garage to the side, but they left the window there, which is fine. So you can look out the window and see into the garage. I have a blind on it, so I don't have to look at my dirty garage. So next thing you know, I see this light flicking on, flicking off, flicking on, flicking off. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. So I got up, I grabbed my phone. I said, all right, here it is. I'm going to videotape it yet again. This is happening. So I grabbed my phone and then it quits. It just stays on. It doesn't go off. It stays on. So I walk out to the garage and I go into the garage and I'm looking to see what in the heck is happening here. And the last time it was the 3rd bay light that was going on and off. This time it was the 2nd bay light going on and off. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they like to play with the lights, but my mom had left her car. She parks in the 2nd bay. She had left her car outside. There was no car in there. So they were in there just playing with the lights.
Yeah.
So on the show last night, which we didn't get to talk about, Krista, the show last night. Now, if Tex is still on here, he can vouch for me because he was texting me during the show. He said, I heard a woman's voice. I said, I know. I did too. I said, but it's not my mom and my daughter. They're completely quiet.
Right.
It was right near me. So I heard this female voice last night that was doing this. And I'm like, that's new because most of the voices that I hear are male. My little trickster friend is a male. The female one is new. So I'm like, okay. So I do have this going on. I'm not talking to them. I'm not opening up communication. I'm not doing anything. I'm just letting them be. As long as they just leave me alone when I'm sleeping, I'm fine. But, it's I don't want to open. Like I was talking to Penny earlier and me and Penny were talking about something else. And I told her, as we all know, we don't want to open that can of worms in our own home.
No. However, you need to cut those cords with that. And
the thing is that I don't know where this female came from or what's happening here. And I don't know if it was her that threw the ball or what happened. Penny's is like, as long as no one doesn't say tee hee hee. Yeah, that we were joking about a video. But yeah, I mean, it's just something that I'm like, this is getting to be every night. But what happens is then they get tired because I ignore them. And then they just quiet down for a little while and then something else will happen. I don't know if it's because I've been out of town so much and that's why one went with me. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is.
Here's the thing though, Brandy. So when people have attachments, it can affect them physically as well. And right now you're doing fine. But who's to say 6 months down the road, you don't start getting like a sudden thing of migraines or something like that. You got the best person in the world to help you. We need to cut those cords. We need to cut those cords and get that.
You're right. Because at first, because of who I think it was in the beginning, I just didn't do anything about it. I'm like, if they want to hang out, they're really not bothering me. So I set the boundaries. Not in my bedroom, not in my bathroom.
But here's the thing. It's attached to you because if it wouldn't have went to Gatlinburg, it wouldn't have went to Michigan with us. It's attached to you. It's not your house. That is different,
Right.
So you get what I'm saying. We can talk off camera and then we'll come back and do a show on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're eventually gonna have to do a show on it. Absolutely, because this has been going on for 2 years now. 2 years, I think. And I honestly don't think it's the same one. I honestly think that I have one major one that kind of hangs with me. And then there's others that come and go. So,
Right.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to
Well,
really have to.
JD Smooth says probably from the hematite you took from the land. You know what, JD? So there is so much there. I mean, I personally have taken hematite from there. A lot of us have. And so I don't necessarily, I mean, it could be, I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't know, but I'm not having any issues and neither is anybody else as far as I know.
Yeah.
So,
And this was happening way before I got the hematite. So,
yeah. And
you know.
growing old with purpose, you can ask them and do that, but you can never make them cross over or anything like that.
No, because that's not our job. That is not our job. We can't make them do anything they don't want to do.
Right. So anyway, just answer those few
Only
questions.
the higher power. We'll just go with that. Only the higher power can make them do something. I can't make them do nothing.
Right.
Except make them leave me alone.
Right.
And we're getting to it. We're getting to it.
Right. Vixen Doe wants to know, do we know anyone who'd be interested in a paranormal investigating around the Superstition Mountains? Where is that at?
Oh my gosh, You tell me where it is, and I'm if I can make it, I'm gonna do it.
I've heard of them, but I don't know where they're at. Do you guys know where they're at?
I'm on my phone, so I can't look it up.
Yeah.
Seems like I've
Okay.
heard of it, but
Arizona.
I can't place it.
Arizona. Okay. And here is a comment, Robbie, I guess about you carrying your deal. I don't think Robbie wants to relive it on film.
Right.
Yeah, an old spirit art says we all must have looked like vagabonds.
Anna says that I gave her some of the hematite, but it's quiet here. She said, thank goodness. So I gave her some. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think that we need to, do something there.
Yeah, because I didn't take anything from anywhere. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I always know that attachments can attach to anything. So even when I go to a haunted location, I will not pick up a penny, a pebble. I don't care. A button, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Everything stays where it's at. I just go observe and look.
Right.
I don't take anything ever.
Paranormal Pixie says I'd trade for some local obsidian if you're interested.
Absolutely. I'll trade you some. Absolutely. And also, I'll add you some red banded calcite I got in Oklahoma.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. That works.
You're gonna have to make me cry. Don't bring that up.
Yeah, you brought us all pretties.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, why don't you tell them about that? I mean, as much as you can. Tell them about what had happened when I gave you that calcite.
I don't even know if I can. I don't know if I can tell the story.
Well, anyway, she had I want to call it a dream, a vision, whatever you want to say, whatever. But she had pictured this exact stone that I had given her in that vision. And I gave it to her. So, and it was very emotional. So that was cool. So, I mean, it is crystals, for some people that feel that vibration, that feel the earth's pull, which, some people don't, some people do. But when you grab a hold of them, I mean, you can feel the energy coming from it. It'll give you a little zing in your hand. Sometimes they're a little too strong and you have to put them back down. But there's other times where you just feel good holding it. So, I mean, and this is one of those times, this is one of those times.
I wasn't even sure if I was even going to be able to cook dinner. I was so blown away. I was like, oh my God. It was just,
but you did.
It was just crazy because I mean, I've described it. I've described it to Krista before. I've described to her what I saw. And it was like, you just literally walk in the door 5 seconds and you're like, here, and this is for you. And I looked down and I just lost my ish because I was blown away because I had never even I mean, I have tons of like crystals and rocks from everywhere, and I had never seen that, and it was just like, whew, it was just like validation. I guess it was validation.
Right. Yes. Crystals do have to be cleansed. Should I say cleansed? And they have to be charged. Absolutely. But I'm finding these right out of the earth.
And I have it
right here. There you go. If you find them in the earth is the number one cleanser. They tell you you can put your crystals in the ground for 24 hours and dig them back up, and they're perfectly cleansed and they're perfectly charged. You can also do it with a full moon. You could do it with sunlight. You can do it with some crystals, not all crystals, but with water. So, all you got to do is read up on the crystals you have and what's the best way to charge them specifically. Yeah.
I just keep all mine in my windowsill.
Yeah. I love my selenite.
We can't forget selenite. Well, selenite and desert rose and then even your barite. Okay, those three actually are their own charging unit. They will charge other things for you.
The raw shungite that she's talking about, I have the raw one, and I put it in water. I put it in my water, like the stones in my water. I let it charge for 24 hours, and then I drink the water, and it really does help boost your immune system. It does. It really, you wouldn't think that it would do anything at all, but it actually does. It was
you just got to remember with your fluorites, don't put them in water.
Yeah.
They will absolutely disintegrate. Yeah. Don't do those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, guys, we're past the hour and a half mark.
Yeah.
And
I know, but we're all talking. Look at everybody talking about crystals in there. Look at that.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Hi, Flat Rock.
Yes. Hello, Flat Rock. This was a fun show. I want to thank Cynthia Prince. Thank you very much. And Maggie M10. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
you.
You
guys both rock. Marty, where can everybody find you?
The Nana Boss.
Nana Boss Continuum on YouTube.
Yeah. At the Nana Boss pretty much everywhere these days. So
yeah. You type in Nana Boss and you find you. You don't even have to put the whole name in. It's like, there she is.
Yep. It comes up. What about you, Robbie?
You can find me Wednesdays and Saturday nights on DAX Machina. You can also find us on YouTube for What's Really Out There. That's the two places that you can find me. Yep.
And then coming up in August, Brandy and I have you and DA coming on talking about Gugway. So
Base Eaters.
I've got Robbie coming on. I've got Robbie coming on my channel too, and we're going to talk about adaptive camouflage.
That'll be awesome.
Ooh, face eaters and camouflage. Boy, that sounds like shows to me.
What more do you need?
What are you going to do? Right. But anyway, also you can find, of course, Marty will not be with us and we're sad about it, but you can find the three of us in September on Labor Day weekend. We will be at the Dogman Conference there outside of Fort Worth, Texas. So
I've got a flyer here, and that's a current flyer.
There it is.
So
and so,
all of us.
Yeah, tickets are still available, so make sure you go and get them soon. There may be a few VIP tickets. I don't know. I'm not sure, but it'd be well worth it if you got those. But like I said, you just isn't that on Eventbrite?
Like really, look at that lineup.
That is a stacked lineup.
It is. Absolutely, it is. I mean, you can't get all of those people in one building and one weekend, and it is a 3-day weekend, guys. And I'm telling you,
I'm not sure if that's even all of them.
I don't think it is.
Yeah,
I don't think it is.
Yeah, just it's going to be a good one. It's definitely going to be a good conference. So,
right, and it's 3 days. So.
Yeah,
I can't make it there. I wish I could be there with you guys. I can't.
You wish you could be too.
I got some other stuff coming up from, so I've got stuff coming up. That's why I can't go to this one. So,
I mean, because Krista and I are finding out that we're going to have to start picking and choosing. This year, we are just overloaded. For some reason, though, August is completely clear. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? But August is absolutely clear. So you should see us every week on Thursday and Friday nights at 8 p.m. Central. Coming at you live. We won't have any pre-records whatsoever. So
Not
you'll have
until not until actually August 31st. It will be a pre-record because we will be traveling to Texas.
Yes.
So,
and
stay
we'll be so
tuned
close to
because-
Fort Worth that we'll have good internet, good cell phone service. Yeah, we might get to do some crazy stuff then.
Yeah. And we actually have a little field trip, and I'm not going to talk about it now, but we're going to go on before we get to the conference. So that'll be fun too.
Yeah, I was about to say that little field trip, that might be a good little live.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. So you guys stay tuned.
We'll have to check out now I've been there. Okay. I've been in the area. Cell service is not great. I'm going to tell you that. But we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Well, if nothing else, I got the GoPro. I can bring that, and we'll, we can at least.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, we do have a field trip. We're not going to say what it is or what we're doing. We'll wait and tell you later.
A couple field trips planned. But
yes, we do. But but we're going to wait. We're going to save that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, and happy early birthday, Growing Old with Purpose.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, happy early birthday.
Ooh, happy early birthday.
Yeah. So anyway, if anybody's in the Texas, Fort Worth area, come on over there.
Anywhere. Or anywhere,
because we're all driving, so you might as well drive.
Exactly.
But it's going to be
Robbie, how far is your drive?
Well, if I had drove straight to there, it was probably going to be about a 14-hour drive, but I think I'm going to cut some time off that coming to the little field trip that we're talking about. So I'm thinking
not much.
I'm probably looking at about an 11-hour drive to there.
Yeah.
And then from there to Fort Worth.
I think it's 3 hours from.
Yeah, it's not far from there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I'm gonna cut about 3 hours off of it. But 3 hours is 3 hours.
That's right. That's right. So if you're even remotely there, close, somewhere, I don't care where.
Considering going, just come on over there. Seriously, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah,
I unfortunately missed last year's Dogman conference, and I've heard everything positive, how much fun everybody had, and the people, there's no Renee Holland's going to be there. Everybody's friendly, and so come on over there. It's going to be fun.
this may be the last one.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think we're going to get another chance. If we do, it'll be a miracle. But I'm just saying.
Well, I think if we can make this one a really big success, then there may be.
It'll happen again. Yeah.
But if it's not a resounding success, I think it's weighing on Josh pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So anyway, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, and we will see everybody next week. Tune in tomorrow night and see Robbie and DA on DAX Machina. And then Marty, you're back on Tuesday?
I am.
She's
Can you give us a little preview?
I think she might be a little happy about it.
Who's your guest? Can you tell us?
I've got Brown Dwarf coming on the 1st. And then I've got I actually have been invited to go on someone else's podcast on actually a couple of them that I'll announce them on my channel so they can always tune in over there. And
so
I've got some really good shows coming up, and I booked some amazing guests. So
awesome.
Keep tuned over there on my channel. Go to the
So we can look forward to Brown Dwarf on the 1st, right?
Yeah.
He's really cool dude. I love him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's our good UFO stuff. All right. Good night, everybody. And we will see everybody next week.
All right. Bye-bye.